Welcome to UO Today. I'm Paul Pepis, Director of the Oregon Humanities Center. My guest today is Michael Schill, President of the University of Oregon. Michael Schill became the 18th President of the U of O on July 1st, 2015, after serving as Dean at the University of Chicago Law School from 2010 to 2015. Prior to joining the University of Chicago, Schill served as the Dean of the UCLA School of Law from 2004 to 2009. His other faculty appointments include tenure positions as Professor of Law and Urban Planning at NYU, New York University, and Professor of Law and Real Estate at the University of Pennsylvania. A nationally recognized expert in property, real estate, and housing law and policy, Schill is the author or co-author of 3 books and more than 40 scholarly articles. Thanks so much for coming on the show, and welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
What attracted you to the job of President of the University of Oregon?
Well, one thing is that I've heard about the reputation of Oregon and I was intrigued, but the second thing is I thought that I could make a difference. The university is really at a pivotal moment, and it had just come through 5 years of leadership churn, and we now had our own independent board. There was hope in the state legislature that we wouldn't be cut and that we might actually get ahead a little bit. And so it felt like, if you can be president, one of the things you don't want to do is be at a university where you can't do anything, right? Where you can't make a difference, at least for me. And I felt that at the University of Oregon, I really could make a difference, and I hope that will happen.
So what's your top priority? What is the biggest difference you want to make?
So I have 3 priorities, and they're all related, and they're not surprising. The first priority is to build the academic stature of the university, to hire additional faculty, and sort of boost the research capacity of the university. The second is to basically continue an accessible, affordable education for our students. And the third is to enhance the co-curricular and the whole experience of our students here, enrich it. And those are really the 3 objectives. Happy to talk to you more about them. I think of them as the fundamentals. That's what makes a great educational institution, each one of those. So that's what we're going to hit on. We're going to hit on hard. And what I say in every meeting when someone says, do we want to do this? Do we want to do that? What I say is, okay, tell me, how does it meet one of these 3 priorities? If it doesn't meet one of these 3 priorities, we might still do it, but it's certainly going to fall way down the list.
Let's take the last one.
Sure.
The co-curricular. Why is that an important thing to do?
Because I think that one of the things that differentiates a great residential university from online education, if you will, is that we learn from each other. We learn from talking to each other. We learn from debating from each other. We learn outside of the classroom. And particularly in a place like Oregon, which isn't a very diverse state, we meet people who are different from ourselves in the university. We challenge ourselves. And I believe that's really, really important. And so I think that the co-curricular part of the university is another way, in addition to the classroom, where you get to meet people who are different from yourself, where you get to establish relationships with those people that will be important lessons for you in the future. I think the other reason is leadership. I think one of the things that we want to teach our students is how to sort of bring out from themselves their leadership qualities. And there's all sorts of ways you can do that, whether it's in athletics, whether it's in drama, whether it's in student government. And those opportunities can really be tremendous. And so we want to have a vibrant life that is outside the classroom. Obviously, my number 1 priority is the life in the classroom. That's why we're here, and the production of knowledge.
So let me take it to the second priority before we get to the first priority. The second priority was access and affordability.
Sure.
Why is that important?
So I am a first-generation college student. Neither of my parents went to college, and I feel very deeply, really in my bones, the importance of access, the importance of giving people who don't have resources the opportunity to move themselves forward, to the opportunity to get a great education and go on and have jobs that are fulfilling, have careers that are fulfilling. And so I think that that is incredibly important. I think that access is also part of our DNA here at Oregon. We're a state university. We play in a national world, in an international world, which is a stupid statement, but nonetheless, you know what I mean. And the idea is that what we want to do is we want to help those students get a great education from the state of Oregon, any student of merit. And so what we're doing is, obviously, it's interesting because what the students focus on when we talk about access is they think about tuition, almost all about tuition. So, for example, I think Oregon increased tuition by 3.8% last year, which is on in-state tuition of a little less than $10,000. It's about $300, $400. I can understand some people might have some trouble putting together $300 and $400, but that's what the students are focused on. What they're not seeing is what really is adding to the cost of higher education, and that is the fact that our students aren't graduating on time. When I went to college, when you went to college, 4 years was the expectation. You graduate in 4 years. Our graduation rate at 4 years is less than 50%. Our graduation rate at the end of 6 years is 69%. That's unacceptable. Each year or each quarter that people are in school adds to the cost of education. That $400 per year of tuition increase is minuscule compared to that cost. So we are going to really focus on how can we get our kids to graduate on time and in a way that they will then be able to go off and begin their careers, begin their lives after university.
In response to that point, in my experience in the classroom, I've had many students who take longer because they can't pay and they work.
Right.
So where I went to college, very few students worked, but our students, they work. They work a lot of hours to pay for their education, and that slows their progress. So how do we address that?
Well, I worked when I was in college, and I still graduated in 4 years. Now, I didn't work as much as some of our students are working. So what do? We do a few things, and this year we were more successful than in past years with the legislature, and that's a good news story. It's not a great news story because we're still not nearly where we were prior to the recession, even in nominal dollars, let alone inflation-adjusted dollars. But we're taking that money, we're taking $3 million, and we're focusing it on students and helping students to graduate. So the first thing that we're doing, and helping affordability. So the first thing is, one way you can make it so students don't have to work is by giving them more financial aid. So we have a great program called the Pathway Oregon program, which says to Pell eligible students, students who are eligible for Pell grants, we will, if you can get into the University of Oregon, we will make up the difference between the Pell Grant and the tuition cost at the university in scholarship money. And then what we will do is once you're here, it's not just go off on your own, we will give you, we'll wrap services around you. So we'll give you the tutoring, we'll give you the ability to understand and adapt to the university. Because, someone who's first generation coming into a university, the things that some students from more privileged backgrounds will take for granted, they don't know. And it may be a very scary place for them. So we'll do that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to start a program of graduation assistance grants. So for students who are getting close to graduation but run out of money, we'll provide them with scholarships to be able to complete. We're also going to be ramping up our advising program. We're going to start looking into analytics to try to help us understand who is going off track. We're going to add additional faculty, which will help people get the courses they need, so then they don't have to wait around to get those classes. So it's really a integrated program to get people to graduate on time. And not everybody's going to graduate within 4 years, but if we can increase that graduation rate, what we can do is reduce the cost of education and thereby reduce the level of debt that people have to take out.
You just mentioned in passing a point that goes to your first priority, which is hiring new faculty, raising the academic profile, strengthening the academic,
Sure.
the research profile. How do we do that?
So what we're going to do, we've already begun, is we're going to hire over the next 4 or 5 years between 80 and 100 tenure-related faculty. And our student-faculty ratio is not what we would like it to be. Part of the reason for that was we increased the student body back 5-10 years ago, and we didn't add faculty at the rate that we needed to add faculty, at least tenure-related faculty, those that typically do research. So what we're going to do is we're going to start adding faculty. We already have this year. We have a cluster hiring initiative that was begun before I came, in which the faculty and administration vetted a whole series of different areas where we could grow excellence. We've already started 3 of those clusters. And so we're going to hire, and this is net new, so we're going to continue hiring the way we always have hired and then add hires. And then what we're going to do is, in addition to the cluster hiring, we're going to be looking at 2 other things. One is we have an initiative in the sciences that we're putting together where we're working with some scientists on the faculty to come up with some philanthropic ideas that will allow us to endow a certain number of professorships in the sciences. And as you know, the sciences are very expensive because you need laboratories, you need all sorts of startup packages. So that is one area that we're going to work on. The other area is to look throughout the university, where are there targets of opportunity, where are there areas that with a couple extra faculty members we could go from good to great, or we could go from fair to really good. And so we're going to start doing that. We're also going to be looking where can we enhance diversity on campus. So we're going to be taking a holistic view of the school and adding faculty to those areas. Now, as we add faculty, we're also going to be adding graduate students because faculty, number one, won't come unless they are going to have the students that they to mentor. And we're going to, again, look strategically at where should we build our faculty, where should we build our graduate program. And one of the things that this will take some adapting and may not be popular with everyone. Just because a department had a faculty member who then retires doesn't mean there's an automatic entitlement to that slot. If the department doesn't have enrollments that will justify it, if that department isn't excellent, if there's no plan for how to improve that department, that faculty slot will go to a different area. So the idea is to build up the quality of the university.
You're aware, no doubt, that we're in a moment where the humanities in particular and the social sciences have been accused, falsely in my view, I'm the director of a humanities center and an English professor, of not being worth investing in because we don't teach the kind of skills or instrumental knowledge or practical knowledge necessary to succeed in the 21st century world. And I just read this morning that the Japanese government is actually directing its institutions to shut down their humanities and social science programs.
Crazy.
You mentioned, and it's always mentioned, and I understand the reason to mention it, the importance of supporting the sciences, startup costs in science labs. Clearly, it's not difficult to understand the appeal to our students and their parents about the sciences, the strength of the sciences, this kind of practical knowledge. One of the consequences of this is that enrollments in the humanities and the social sciences are down. My response would be to say the fact that enrollments are down doesn't necessarily mean that the humanities are failing to do their jobs or that what we do is not valuable. So the simple question is, What's your view of the role of the humanities and the social sciences at a research institution?
So I think it's incredibly short-sighted, both for the parents to be telling their kids not to be taking the humanities or the social sciences, and it would be short-sighted for the university to drain out the vitality of the humanities and social sciences. I mean, so let's take me, for example. I got a great liberal arts education. I was shown, when I grew up in Schenectady, I never read great literature. I never appreciated art, music. I got all of that in the liberal arts education. It made me a person. It made me a full person. And I think that it's very important that all of our students get a great liberal education. That's one of the strengths of the University of Oregon. It's always been a strength. And so what we need to do is keep a very strong humanities and social sciences set of programs. That doesn't mean each of our departments is a vital department, or that what we do in each department is valuable. I think that what we need to look at very critically, and universities are not good at that, is what do we do well, what can we improve, and what can't we improve, given the situation, given who's currently there, given where students want to go. And so you don't just look at where students are currently going. What you look at is, if we build it, they will come. Mm-hmm. So if we build a really fantastic English department, mm-hmm. with faculty who are engaging, with faculty who are broadening students' minds, getting them to question who they are, getting them to put themselves in the position, develop empathy through reading about characters that they aren't, right? Then we're going to see students flocking to those departments. If it's not in majors, they'll be flocking to them for general education. They'll be flocking to them for the extra courses. One of the things that I'm concerned about, which relates to your point, is that our students are thinking about an education purely in utilitarian mm-hmm. ways. And I get it. We're in a market, we're in an economy where people are worried about when they come out whether they're going to get great jobs. But we're also producing citizens. And so for us as a society, we need to be guiding those students. And what we need to be saying to the students is, you can get a great education in the sciences, or in business, or in journalism, or indeed in the social sciences or humanities, but take some classes outside of your area, broaden yourself. And so that's what we need to be doing, and we need internally to be firing on all cylinders. And we also need to be expanding our research. So again, as we look at this, we're going to be looking at what parts of the humanities, what parts of the social sciences are performing well. Where do you have faculty that are deeply engaged? Where do you have faculty that are hungry to get better? And that's where we'll be making strategic investments.
All of your priorities, which are laudable, are expensive. Mm-hmm. The legislature was generous comparatively with us this year. But when I arrived at the University of Oregon 20 years ago, they funded 35% of our budget, and they fund 6% now. We responded by growing our undergrad population and raising our tuition rates. What else can we do?
So I think that, let me start with the legislature and the state. We have to do a better job articulating the value of higher education. In addition, what we have to do, and this is difficult, is articulate the value of excellence. And one of the things in my coming to Oregon that I've been quite surprised by is actually the need to do that. In every other setting I've ever been in, everybody understood the importance of having at least one fabulous, great institution of higher learning. Here, what I've discovered is you actually have to articulate why that's important, why it's important that we be a player in the national higher education market, why it is that the programs that we provide, the education that we provide, the ideas that we create are important for the economic health of the state of Oregon. So I think part of that is to articulate to the legislature the reasons why having a flagship that is a competitor with the University of Virginia, with the University of California, why that's important, why it's necessary for us to have a skilled labor force in the state of Oregon, that will bring economic opportunity to the state. So I think that's one thing. But I'm a realist, and we're 6%. So maybe we'll get to 7%, maybe we'll get to 8%. Who knows? I hope that happens. But our way forward is we hope we'll have stability with the legislature's money, with the state money, but we know that we're not going to be able to make tremendous leaps ahead that way. So where are we going to find the resources? One of the ways we'll find the resources is by eliminating some things that we currently do that we don't do well. Second place that we're going to get resources is through philanthropy. And really, philanthropy is the way forward for the University of Oregon. One of the things that I found since I came here is our alumni feel very strongly about the University of Oregon. To be a duck means something. One of our alumni mentioned to me that he had webbed feet. There's this love for the school. We need to translate that love for the school into dollars. Now, many of these people have already given. My job is to go back, get them to give more, get them to give transformational gifts. And one of the exciting things about the University of Oregon, indeed one of the reasons I came here, was there is a road forward. Some public universities, they're looking at the same exact picture as we are, and there is no way forward. For us, we have alumni who have actually fabulous capacity to transform the university and are deeply engaged in the university. So that's a really wonderful opportunity. We need to come together and actualize that opportunity.
One of the sort of subtext behind what you've just said is that we have incredibly generous alumni, but much of that generosity has gone to the athletic side of what we do. And in fact, investment breeds excellence. It's very clear. If you invest in athletics, you get amazing athletic performance. How are you going to persuade the people who love the University of Oregon, but they really love the Ducks, the athletic side of the university, that they also have to be somewhat comparably generous to the academic side?
So, number one, they already know that. So one of the interesting things, this would be a surprise to many people, particularly on the faculty, who think that athletics has a monopoly on the fundraising, which is definitely not true here. But when I talk to alumni who do give to the athletics, what they always say to me is, we need the academics to be as good as the athletics. No one is saying that we shouldn't have that. And so I think that what we need to do is hold the athletics as a model, that what we want to do as a university is to bring our academic performance up to the level of our athletic performance. What we shouldn't be talking about, and which some of us are talking about, is leveling down our athletic performance to our academic performance. We should be able to move up. That will inspire our alumni, and that's the right thing, because the athletic program here can be extraordinarily helpful to the academic program. There's all sorts of ways in which the athletic program and the academic program link up with each other, human physiology being one of them. We're going to rebuild Hayward Field. We're going to triple the space of the human physiology lab and clinic. There's other ways that we can do that. In addition, what the athletic department does, what our athletic program does, is it gets our name out to everyone. One of the reasons why every year the quality of our students is going up and up at the undergraduate level is because of the phenomenal success of the Ducks, right? We have a platform that goes to all parts of the United States and then to Asia, to Europe, and everyone knows what it means to be a Duck. I mean, the day that I was named as president, I went on Facebook and I saw posted a picture from the son of a friend of mine wearing a Ducks t-shirt. Now, he didn't have time to call and order that. He had it. So what that means is we have this tremendous opportunity to really use our platform to enhance our academic desirability among students, and I'm excited about that. But we need to do this together. What we can't do is we can't be antagonistic with each other and have an us-them approach with regard to athletics or really with regard to anything. We don't have that opportunity. We have an opportunity today, we have an opportunity to move forward. If we blow that opportunity, we may not have it again.
Inspiring words. Are you going to stick around long enough to make that happen?
I will stick around until it happens. It is the transformations don't happen overnight, but we have a lot of plans that we're going to be implementing, and we're moving very quickly. One of the things that ends up happening when you become president, they frequently tell
that
you,
won't happen to me, but go ahead.
Right,
when
right.
one becomes president.
Who knows? You never know. I wouldn't have thought I'd be president when I was teaching property. But what they tell, there's books written about what do you do when you become president, and they all say just sit back and listen to people, don't do anything for a year, and then come out with your ideas. But one thing that I've discovered from meeting with faculty, from meeting with alumni, our students, administrators, is no one wants that. No one wants to just sit around. We've had 5 years of churn. People are hungry to move ahead. The faculty in particular, in fact, you came to my office to give me your books. We had faculty come and bring me books that they had written and to fill my office. And it was almost, some of the faculty were almost in tears that, wow, you care about us, you care about our academics, you will move us forward. Now, I'm not moving anyone forward. We will move ourselves forward, all of us together. And we're going to start that right away.
Michael Schill, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
It's been a pleasure.
And to share your vision and to be inspiring. I like many faculty on this campus, we all hope that you succeed in realizing that vision.
Thank you, and thank you for your great work with the Humanities Center.
Oh, total pleasure. I've been speaking with Michael Schill, the 18th president of the University of Oregon. Thank you so much for watching.